Welcome. Hi, I'm Julian Darley, and this is
Dave Gilbert.
And we are going to talk about OpenAI's first agent, Operator, and we're going to give you a demonstration of what it actually does in an example, and most intriguingly and interestingly, a comparison with what's already out there, something from Perplexity and Google, which are not agents in the way that Operator is, but it's a fascinating comparison, and I hope you find this really valuable. Dave, do you want to explain what Operator is, since you are one of the few people in the world who has your hands on the levers and can actually drive it? Because, well, explain why you're one of the few.
Well, I have a ChatGPT Pro subscription to the advanced models, and it's $200 a month, so it's not cheap. I mostly got it so that I could get like unlimited model usage of all the models, not just the advanced model, which I don't have a particularly strong use case for. But anyway, so it puts me in the category of people who can test Operator, which is the new agent-driven web browsing product service from OpenAI. So you're looking at it right now. If you have the $200 a month ChatGPT subscription, then you should have access to Operator.
And you live in America.
And you live in America. Yeah. So the idea is that this is a preview. They consider this a preview release. So it's very early of what the sort of, but it's their sort of stake in the ground of what sort of experience that we should expect for having agents do things for us on the web in the future. And OpenAI is the first of the major foundation model developers to bring out a preview of a consumer product that shows what this might look like. This world that we might live in the near future, where instead of, I'm shopping for something, I'm going to websites, I'm looking at several news sites, I'm using search engines. I just have my agent. I tell my agent to go get the thing or the information I want, and then I wait, and it brings back everything for me already done.
So we had a number of choices. We could have gone down the road. We were given during the rehearsal for this, we had an interesting experience with what Operator suggested, which was to buy some kind of pillow set. But I think slightly more interesting, at least from our perspective, is Dave's going to look for some mobile or portable speakers. And the reason for going for a shopping experience is that it shows, I think, some of the difficulties that the Operator's facing, as opposed to going for news. I think it handles that more easily, though it's still a very interesting comparison, and maybe we'll show that another time. But I think we learn a lot from trying to buy something, and we all have to buy things. So Dave, take it away.
Okay, let's jump right into Operator, and I don't have to go to one of these modes to begin my search, but I'm just going to show you I'm going to click on the shopping pill and show you sort of the prompts that they build in for you, so you can see, well, the small images are broken, but you can see that they're suggesting a number of shopping related searches that one might do, and connecting them specifically to particular online retailers, which they have partnered with, by the way. I'm going to just bypass that, and I'm going to just do a search for, I want to buy a Bluetooth speaker.
And just say, one of the insights we had earlier was that you can go past I think we're authorized partners, which OpenAI has presumably signed deals with. I mean, that was one of the things that we discovered, right, Dave?
That's right. So, and it seems that OpenAI went to all these different companies that provide different types of products and services, and they made deals with them to be able to feature them on this operator deployment. And Also, there's some language that they use around being respectful to online service providers and retailers. And so I think there's a question about, in the future, what will agents be able to just go extract what they need from these sites and bypass all the stuff that's created for users to interact with? Or will the model that works be a model where the relationships between the the companies that provide the agents like OpenAI and the online service providers, will there be relationships there so that the service providers are able to make sure that that the agents don't bypass certain types of experiences or opportunities that they want users to be put in front of users who are shopping on their site. So,
which is going to be a very interesting conversation in the not too far distant future, right, Dave? Because a huge amount of effort has been put in by people selling and people offering services tailored to humans and trying to attract their attention, presumably to do more of what they want them to do. But if an agent's doing it, that may not work quite the same way.
That's right. So for anybody who's used, shopped at Amazon, it's kind of a universal experience. When you go to the site, you're reminded of stuff that you bought before and you're prompted to rebuy it. When you put stuff in your basket or you're shopping for things, you see examples of products that other people have purchased, product recommendations. You see bundles that get marketed to you. So there are all sorts of prompts and nudges and marketing attempts on a Amazon site or any other site that's providing services, goods or services for sale. And that's an important part of the business model of these online service and product companies. And so in a world where an agent, where I don't see those sites, and then my agent goes out and compares products and buys what I need and comes back to me, all those affordances, all those marketing points become useless. And so that would obviously be of concern to the purveyors of online products and services. They don't want to all those sort of marketing opportunities they've created to be disintermediated from the shopping experience. And so I think that what we're seeing with OpenAI is that they have partnered with certain companies to sort of show that they can do partnerships that will make sure that the online service provider or retailer has an opportunity to maybe influence what that agentic experience will be like, so that they can make sure that they still have a marketing plan that the user is that takes into account this new way that people will shop for such things.
Yeah. Okay.
So we got to buy a Bluetooth speaker. I'll look for some options online for you. Do you have any specific preferences or a budget in mind? Okay. So, I don't know. Let's say I don't know. Should we say under $50 and see what happens? Or
all right.
All right, so we'll say, let's say under $50.
You can hear
Obviously, there's some latency here, which they'll improve over time. Okay. So now you see, interestingly, there's a browser within a browser. So now what you're looking at is I'm using the Chrome browser on Windows 11. So you see my browser. Then you see within my browser now, there's another browser, probably built on Chromium, that is the operator browser. So my operator agent has its own browser. And you see screenshots periodically appearing that shows me its sort of chain of activity in accomplishing this goal of shopping for a speaker under $50. So it's opening up browser tabs. So here, and also I can change the view so that now the virtual browser is large, and I have a sidebar with the chat conversation. So you can see it's opened up one search. It started by doing a search. I guess that was a Bing search. Yeah, there's another Bing search. Now it's going to do yet another Bing search.
The one thing we discovered, Dave, I think that we cannot click between those tabs, right, in the operator browser. Is that right?
Well, so if you notice,
without
when I
losing.
scroll over, when I hover, I get to take control.
Yeah, you have to take control in order to do that. When you're within its world, you can't simply seamlessly interrupt, as it were, and just click to another one in the way that humans seamlessly talk with each other. And we're not always very precise about letting each other, turn taking is complex with humans. And there's this very clunky procedure where you have to come out, take control, click to go to another tab, and then come back out again, right?
Right. So in that way, it's more like a self-driving car, like a Tesla. With a Tesla, you're either driving it or the auto pilot feature is on, or the driver assist, whatever they call it. And it's the same in this case. Either I'm handing the wheel to operator, or operator hands the wheel back to me. So now it gives me over here in the sidebar, I found a Bluetooth speaker on Amazon that fits your budget. It tells me about it, summarizes the speaker from Amazon. It gives me the rating, $9.99. So I'm kind of, would you like to proceed with this option, or should I look for more choices? I'm kind of surprised at this point it hasn't brought back more. It's done 4 Bing searches, and it can only find 1 Bluetooth speaker under $50. That seems like there's got to be more that it can find. So I'm going to say look for more. Look for more. All right, here we go. Oh, that's a cool one. Look at that.
It looks like some kind of wild Italian ice cream.
Yes. All right, so I found another Bluetooth speaker on Walmart's website, $10.16. And so got 2 for under $50. And it's so I don't know, Julian, what should we do next here? Should I take control and click around, or what should I do?
Well, let's say we've decided to go for the wild colored one. What happens next? How easy would it be? Because we already know, because we did this in rehearsal. How easy would it be to buy this? I mean, in an ideal world, at least the way I would think of it is, I would simply say, okay, go ahead and buy it. Thanks a lot. And then I would go off and go back to whatever I was doing. But it's not quite so easy, right? But we don't know, because we were in our trial, we tried Etsy, which was one of the ones suggested by OpenAI. But now we're in different territory here. So I guess we'll find out together how easy it will be, right?
Yeah. Okay, we're at the product page. It looks like it's already in the cart, and we're ready for checkout. Okay, sign in or create your account. Okay, here's where it's going to hand the wheel back to me. Checkout process requires signing in or creating an account. Could you please complete this step? All right, so this is where I would need to take over, and I'll go ahead and choose take control. And now I can type directly in. I don't know, should I go through some of this? Is there any point in going through this, or do we want to?
Well, it was quite interesting when we tried it with Etsy before. So yeah, sure. I mean, I think it's valuable, because one of the things, I mean, maybe I got the wrong video, but when I looked at the OpenAI video, I was surprised that they did not go all the way through the process. They just started us off. So I think we won't go all the way through, because we don't actually want to buy any speakers right this second, or not these sort of jello ice cream ones. But I do think we should push on a little bit.
Okay. This is interesting. We haven't seen this dialogue.
No, that's true.
Robot or human, but it's not a CAPTCHA. It's activate and hold the button to confirm that you're human. I suppose this must be coming from Walmart, right? Or is this coming from Walmart, or is this coming from operator?
I mean, there's that little sort of Leonardo da Vinci person logo thing by press and hold, but I don't know where. No idea. It's the same. It looks to me like the same font as you have control, but why would OpenAI be saying that? Maybe there's an obvious reason, but I'm not seeing what it is.
All right, I'm kind of curious to know. So let's grab this one, put it in the cart, decline, view cart. Continue to check out. Okay, this should be the same.
Yes, I see.
Now I'm on the Walmart site in my browser, not in the operator virtual browser.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess that was from OpenAI.
I'm guessing so.
Oh,
I wonder where they would.
no, wait. Oh, you just flipped back to that.
Yeah, I just flipped back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all right. So this must be something that open. And I wonder why they do this. Why would they? I guess they don't want people using scripts that would then use another AI to use their operator.
Yeah, well, maybe they don't want some other foreign agent, as it were, some other agent to use their agent. Which gets us into sort of Theodore Melnichuk's last ventriloquist, you know, there's a homunculus inside a homunculus, a little man inside a little man inside, you know, I mean, it's kind of hilarious. They're already thinking far into the future where we have layers of agents.
Yeah. That's interesting that they felt the need to include this in the first deployment of operator. Okay, so I'm going to press and hold.
How that would stop an agent is beyond me, because it would just be able to go and click it. But anyway.
Okay, so now I'm into what am I saying here? Okay, okay, got it. All right, so now it's asking me for my password. So, yeah, let's see. Do I have an Amazon password? I don't even know. You know, the interesting thing here is, of course, is that I may have a password stored in my, you know, keychain or whatever, you know, my Chrome password manager, whatever they call it. I use Chrome browser on Windows 11, but I'm logged into my Google account and I keep all that stuff, and keep all my passwords in the Chrome Google world. So, but interestingly, because now I'm interacting with this virtual operator browser inside my browser, it's not going to be able to access my passwords.
Yeah,
so isn't it?
Yeah, I think this is a significant drawback, and it makes me wonder why I'm sure they had very good reasons, because developing a browser, even if you build it on Chromium, is not a trivial exercise. So why they went to all this trouble, they must have realized this cuts everybody off from all their normal the flow of passwords and so forth, which makes life so relatively easy, rather than use an extension where they would have access to that. So that was an interesting decision. It will be interesting also to see whether other forthcoming agents take a different route and actually use extensions. Obviously, you've got the problem that extensions can and are being increasingly limited, but they're still pretty powerful. And you definitely then have access to all your own passwords and your stored credit cards and means of payment and so forth. And I mean, we discussed earlier when we were rehearsing that how much do you really want to give this information to OpenAI? I mean, we're trusting other things, but it'll be some other company as well. I don't know, it feels like a step, if not over the Rubicon, it definitely feels like stepping over at least a thin red line.
Indeed, it does. Okay, so now I'm going to try to put my my password in and see what happens into the virtual browser. It says it's the wrong password. I think it's the right password. I don't see what the problem is. Let me type it in manually. All right.
I think it's really showing up the fact that unless you've got this stuff pre-stored, you're going to have to go through and fill this in over again for all the other sites. Let's say you decide to let it remember it. Still, not a few people probably have dozens or even hundreds of these things stored. So imagine going through every time you want to go and do a new one. You've got to do this. It's quite off-putting.
It is, and I think I'm putting in the right password.
You know, what they could do is say, import all your passwords from Google, but then again, that means you're giving them all to OpenAI. Mind you, you've given them all to Google, so you could say, what's the difference?
Well, and I had the experience recently. I wanted to try Edge, the new version of Edge on my Windows 11 machine. the Edge browser. So I did, in one click, give Edge permission to suck all my passwords from my Google Password Manager over into Microsoft's Edge version of that. So I was willing to do that. But frankly, I have a level of trust in Google and Microsoft that I'm not really sure I have in OpenAI quite yet. They haven't really earned my trust. They haven't, they're not established in the same way. So I don't know. But yes, if there was some way for me to just sort of, like I was able to just import all that over from, and I imported my bookmarks and everything. You can just import everything from Chrome. Microsoft has this really wonderful tool that imports all that over into Edge. And I think for this to be successful, OpenAI needs a similar tool. But the problem is no one's probably going to import all their stuff, especially all their passwords and so forth. Certainly not their payment information and all that over into a virtual operator browser that's controlled by OpenAI at this point. So I don't know what to do here, Julian. I would love to see if it has its own sort of keychain and wants to store my passwords and tells me about that and makes that explicit. But it's not taking the virtual browser's not taking.
Yeah, I think we're here to illustrate and do what most people can't do, and that's actually take a look inside it. And so I think we've come up against a pretty big brick wall here. Given that. Should we have a quick go at news where we shouldn't face any paywalls and having to put passwords and so forth?
Yeah, let me just do one thing real quick. I'm going to see if I can sign in to okay, now my account has been locked because of too many failed sign-in attempts.
Perfect. What we all dream of.
All right, never mind. Okay, what was plan B? Go to the news.
Yeah, we have a plan B. There may not be a planet B, but we do have a plan B.
All right, let me get back out here.
Well, if you're Elon Musk, there's Mars, but
yeah,
doesn't look all that appealing.
All right, I'm going to go to new conversation up here. Going to new conversation. We're going to go to news, which again, I don't think you have to do. I think you could ask it from here what the news is.
Yeah, rather than, it's up to you, but maybe we should go for something broader because we did originally think that we were rather locked in. And I think one of the things to show here is you're not that locked in. So maybe go for something more general rather than what they're telling you to do. Not they're telling you, but offering. Because then you don't know how curated it is. That's the thing. You never quite know how cherry-picked it is. So I think this is less cherry-picked.
All right, so where did it go? Went to I missed that. I'm going to blow it up so I can see what tabs it's looking at. Now it's looking at Reuters. I don't know what the first one search was. Okay, so it's browsing, I suppose. We're seeing periodic screenshots. And what kind of frequency is this? Once every 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, every several seconds. Do we have a description of what it's doing over here? Oh, we do. Okay, so we can look at its series of tasks it's undertaking. Searching, clicking, exploring, selecting, scrolling, returning, scrolling. Okay.
Can't really be described as incredibly fast at this stage, but fair enough. It's an early version.
Yes, and I wonder what the benefit of this sort of play-by-play is over here. The list of things it's doing. I guess it's kind of curious. It's interesting to see, but I don't think it's particularly relevant to someone looking for the news.
I suppose they could make it. They could have a hide button if you didn't want to see that.
Oh yeah, well, you don't see it by default. I use this.
Oh, I see. Right. Oh yeah, you had to show it. On the other hand, if you didn't show it, you might be wondering why it's taking so long.
maybe that's what it can do. It can show you what it's showing you the progress.
Yeah.
It's showing you something's happening. That's a good point.
I think you could argue towards interpretability as well, actually seeing what's going on inside the machine. It can be helpful for that.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
okay. Worked for 2 minutes. Elon Musk appeared. Okay. So wow, we get one
Is
story.
that news, really?
One story.
One story.
Wow. Okay. And I can click, and that will take me. That'll open up another tab in my browser and take me to the story. And then this will do the same thing. All right. Live. This is interesting because this is live. I guess this is weird because this is the kind of user interface element I see on, like, if you're watching a live stream on YouTube or video or something. It's not. This is the sort of convention for showing you that this is a live broadcast. It's weird that I'm seeing. It's showing me now. It's a live broadcast of an agent interacting with a virtual browser, even though the agent's just sitting there, I suppose, waiting on me to do something next. It's nothing. It's kind of strange. Kind of a strange UI element to use in this case. I think I understand why they did it, but okay. And then I can take control, and if why I want to in this situation, I have no idea. I could ask another question. I don't know. What should we do from here, Julian?
Well, I think it's interesting that ask it why it's only offered us one news item, because you said, what is the latest news from Europe? And however significant that Musk story might be, and I hope it's not too significant, but one doesn't know. I mean, to only give you one story is not really a very accurate interpretation of give me the news from Europe. A rather restrictive interpretation. And I guess
I think we were talking about this earlier. That this is, I mean, obviously they're just trying to demo some vision of what the future might look like. Maybe they just wanted to get out there ahead of everybody else and show it off. Say they did it, check that box. OpenAI is the first to release a consumer-facing agent for web browsing, but it's obviously not useful at this point. Let's see what it's doing.
So it seems to find these articles. So is it this time going to perhaps compile a list for them? I'm wondering how it's going to show us them nicely.
Yes, I'm curious as well.
Oh, because we were, and we should, if it's okay, we should show the comparison, the shopping. We were going to do the speaking comparison. I think we were a bit thrown off by the being blocked from Walmart there, but we should come back and finish off by showing the comparison with Perplexity and Google for the speaker thing. So
yeah.
Slightly strange structure to this, but never mind.
I realized that a moment ago too, that we got.
Well, never mind. It's all right. So I think the key thing to hear is: are we going to get a list of at least a few news articles displayed in some pleasing or at least moderately useful way?
Yeah, it's we're waiting quite a long time to very trivial sort of output here, but it's interesting to see it scrolling and doing what it does, and but it really shows how far away we are from having useful agents that are able to browse the web for us.
Okay. We've got, how many have we got?
Six.
Okay, fair enough. So that's it. So we just get this little thumbnail, a little very short summary, especially the last one. No pictures. Do I see any links? not obviously would have been nice to have had a link to each article, I think. Because that just takes you to Reuters, and then you're just able to make your own choices.
I'm just trying to figure out if each of these 6 items is present on this particular page that is linking to. I don't know. I'd have to compare them, point by point. But in any case, yeah, obviously this is not terribly useful.
Not at this stage. I mean, if it were a lot faster, and if it hadn't given us just one to start with, these are all fixable things. I'm sure anybody at OpenAI seeing this, if they happen to view it, hello, thank you very much for all your hard work. They could presumably fix this and make this go a lot faster. But yeah, I think it's useful. I mean, it's not, I think, as we've agreed, going to make a large number of people hurry to get their wallets out to pay. But I sort of think maybe they're trying to take an opposite tack from with SORA, when they showed a demo and then the public couldn't get near it for months and months and months, and then lots of other people caught up. So maybe they're putting this out there. And I think you had an insight which we were chatting about in earlier off camera, which you've alluded to a little bit, but do you want to articulate that more fully as to why OpenAI has done this now in a form which is clearly not quite stellar yet?
Yeah, so I think that the being part of the hype cycle in news for doing the next thing in AI and getting a step closer to this world where agents do everything for us, that OpenAI, it needs to continue to be thought of as the most innovative AI company doing this kind of stuff. And so now they get to do this they have this really beautifully curated press release about it. It's all over the tech news and general news that OpenAI has launched an agent that can browse the web for you and buy stuff and bring stuff back. And even though, as we see right here, it doesn't really work well, it's kind of useless. Not many people are going to be able to even directly interact with it, because you have to be on that $200 a month tier to even have access to this. So what most people are going to do is just read the news stories and go, oh, wow, OpenAI is still the most innovative company. They got there before Anthropic did. They got there before Perplexity or Google or Microsoft or whatever. So I think that's what this is about. So, good for them. If we want to go back, we do a Bluetooth speaker thing. We're back here. To speaker.
So then the idea is we'll do a comparison with what it was like doing something similar with Perplexity, obviously not an agent, and Google. I just thought the comparison is quite interesting, because you can actually do something both Perplexity and Google have in this particular case. I don't know how it will work with other cases, but in this particular case, it's quite interesting to try and do something similar with Perplexity and Google, right?
Right. Yeah. Just to compare. Let's go, because these are different views on how the future is emerging. So I don't remember the exact prompt I've used here. What was it? I want to buy a Bluetooth speaker. Okay. So go here. Now we're in Perplexity, which I use all the time. I've got Perplexity Pro. I have it connected to Claude, wherever that option is. But it's using Claude Sonnet 3.5. So I'm going to run the same prompt. Again, it's sort of showing me its activity. But again, here there's no virtual web browser. It's not opening up a different web browser with an agent that's acting like a human interacting with the browser. But it is showing me what it's doing. Okay, so now it made a little table for me, features and what to look for. Consider speaking. So it's helping me kind of figure out, helping me sort of think about the things I might want to think about if I'm going to make a smart purchasing decision. And oh wow! And some of the links that it's giving me are not links to particular. Well, these might be products, but they're links that also tell me how to shop for speakers. It's kind of interesting. Because here, interestingly, it figured out my intent was not, not to bring back a list of speakers for sale. It said I want to buy a Bluetooth speaker, and so instead of bringing me back a bunch of speakers I could purchase, it brought me back some help for how to make a decision about how to do a purchase. So that's interesting that's the way it figured out my intent.
But there is a list at the bottom, right?
But probably so. Okay, but now we get to the list. And now we do.
Yeah, and I think there's some. Yeah. Oh, it got related. Yeah.
And here, it creates these nice little cards with like website branding, online retailer branding, very nicely done and pulled out, organized really well. Which I assume, I don't know, Jillian, I don't know in these cases if this is if Best Buy and B&H have endpoints that have this data available for services to come in and pull out product information, or if they're scraping or something. I don't know.
I imagine they've got fully legitimate API access. That would be my guess.
Okay, yeah, probably so. Probably right. And then okay, so and then we get related stuff.
So that would get us there. You've learned quite a bit in the process. I think it's easy to see analogs for lots of other things. You might be saying, I want a university course in physics or ancient Greek, and I think it would go off and do something similar. So I think that's fairly reasonable, and you can go off and buy it from various places, or you can buy it with the service inside this pro service inside Perplexity. So I think that's all pretty reasonable. It was pretty quick. And it says, as you said, it's helped you understand what you might want. And I've no reason to doubt that it wouldn't help you understand with many other things, perhaps more complex than that, such as learning ancient Greek, which is highly recommended by me. So let's have a look at how Google handles it, if you think we've covered that.
One more thing to say here. So if I use the Perplexity Pro shopping service to buy the thing, then since I haven't signed up for that before, I get an explanation of it. So how it works, find the right item, Perplexity will purchase it on your behalf. So we still have this, this is sort of agentic light, because the way this is worded, Perplexity will purchase it on your behalf. That is agent-like behavior, that there's an agent who's going to do the purchasing for me. So that is a language that suggests there's an agent that's going to do this for me.
Well, to me, it also suggests that Perplexity is not very far away from launching their own agent.
Right, and frankly, this makes a lot more sense to me than a virtual browser that looks like my browser that my operator agent's clicking around on to do things. I kind of don't care about that process. I don't care about knowing it's looking at this page, then that page, and it's scrolling and it's clicking, and I don't really, I just wanted to bring back the stuff, summarize it, and tee it up for me to make a decision, and that's what Perplexity is doing here. Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at how Google handles it. Okay. In stressing this is not an agent, but we're just comparing it because it's not so far away in some ways, and given where OpenAI is at the moment, how clunky it is, it's an interesting comparison.
Right. So, well, one more thing to say before we move on. Notice here that now it's prompting me to set up and to add my payment information, put my debit card and everything into a Perplexity system, so that anytime in the future I go back and want to purchase something with Perplexity, then I can just click that go button, click whatever that button's called here, the Perplexity Pro button, and I can buy the thing. And it has my address and my credentials and my payment method and all that. So now there's nothing here in operator yet that does that, right? There's no operator. Well, but we don't know. If I were actually able to log in, we might see that is
yes.
that it does hold on to my payment information and credentials to get into a site. It might. But it's not really clear it does, and we couldn't get past the Walmart login, so we don't know for sure. But what Perplexity is doing here is what Google's been doing forever. So now I've got Google Shopping. Well, okay, so this is popular products. What is this? Okay, Google Shopping is not showing up. I could go into Google Shopping, I guess. I could go into Google Shopping or not. What should I do, Julian?
Let's go into Google Shopping then, since that's probably what you would do if you really were trying to buy. You were on this journey and you wanted to buy the speakers.
All right.
I mean, Google, as you say, has been doing this a long time. That was very fast. As opposed to Perplexity, though, you don't get any help with understanding, which, given that they got Gemini hovering around, I can't see, looking for Gemini on there, but, you know, Gemini is close by. It would be interesting if an interim stage for Google would be, oh, I see you're trying to buy this. You've just said a Bluetooth speaker. That should trigger an intelligent language model, or a good language model, to say, oh, can I help you? And in fact, it often does, though one doesn't always want that. But so that'll be interesting to see whether that's the next way they go, or whether they have a fully fledged agent. But this is a place where an agent could jump in.
Okay, so yes, and I thought that actually Google, they did have a shopping experience where you could buy through Google and you'd have to go to the retailer. But now I'm not really sure how this is working. So I mean, again, if I click on this speaker, I've got a speaker here. So I'm gonna, yeah, it looks like it's just gonna send me directly to the retailer. So I don't know. I haven't used Google Shopping in a while. At some point, you could actually buy the product through Google, and it would interact with the online retailer and abstract that away from you, if I remember correctly. But that doesn't seem to be what's happening now here.
Okay.
Looks like it's pushing me to the store. I don't see. Is there a way to buy it through Google? No, there's not. Well, so okay, so maybe Google no longer has a service like this,
yeah, interesting
service like Perplexity has, and then Operator has nothing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So I think that gives a pretty good comparison. Lots of food for thought, and two different kinds of examples. And so, well, overall, I think that it's interesting that OpenAI has brought Operator out early. Some might say too early, but anyway, they brought it out. I think your suggestion, your raison d'etre, that they need to be first and very early in this in order to maintain part of their mystique. That may not be the reason, but it's not a bad one. And given the pressure that's on them from all the other players now, and from the advent of things like R1 and Kimi K1.5, these open source reasoning models, which I've tried and are really amazing, given that kind of pressure, it may well be the case that they just think, oh, we don't want to do what we did with SORA, which got a whole lot of interest, and then people say, but where is it? They've at least people, if they want to stump up, can give it a try. So I think it's been really interesting. I hope viewers find it interesting. Dave, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I want to see if I can log into my Etsy account. I want to see if it holds, if it keeps my password and lets me know it's putting it into a keychain or something. I'm just curious to see if it will do that. So it's going to give me control here in a moment, and I'm going to try to log in. All right. Okay. Oh no, sign in. That was the wrong thing to do here. Sign in. Okay.
Oh,
okay. Oh, the car. Let's see. Okay, it's kind of small here. It's kind of tough to see. Oh boy, It's not going to believe I'm a human. Let's see. Okay. Select. I think that's the cars here. I don't know. There's your car in there.
What happens when this really isn't a human, and you know, say you really do want your agent to go ahead and buy it, you're happy with the thing, it's going to, perhaps the agents will be able to do a better job than these wretched things than humans can.
Oh my gosh. Please also check the new images. Okay, I see cars here. Crosswalks. Okay, well, I could see those easier. All right.
You get into these infinite loops, the next thing it's
oh my gosh. Please check the
bicycle and buses.
Holy cow. All right, let's see. Okay. No, all right. 1, 2, wait for the little blue. The latency is kind of weird too, because I'm clicking to highlight the images with the crosswalks, but it's like, you know, there's latency because I'm going through a virtual browser to get there. Okay, so that's selected. Oh my gosh. What is going on here? And that's disappearing. It's changing. It's what is happening? I am perplexed.
Oh
my gosh. You should be receiving a 6-digit security code. Well, okay, hang on. We're so close. We're so close. I'm going to make it work. Let's see where I'm checking.
It's saving so much time.
Yes, the convenience. This new agentic world is fantastic. Okay. Okay, I've got.
And I think in the next screen is that where they ask for the blood sample.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I'm logged in.
Are you actually in?
I am logged in. So I assume now that OpenAI has my Etsy password. I don't know. Unless this is a strange thing is, you think that they would explain this to you, so that you know what you're giving to whom under what permission conditions. Like, do they now have my Etsy password, or is this encrypted? You know, am I logging in some way that's encrypted that so OpenAI is not seeing my password? I don't know. Do you have any ideas about how that might?
No, but I think you're right. They should explain. They definitely should explain.
Okay, so let's say that I just like I'm logged in now. So let's say that I just I'm going
and
to
that finish up is rather strange, right? That means hand back control.
Yeah, that means hand back control. So I'm going to start. I just want to see if it's going to have my persistent session when I go back in.
Okay.
My Etsy session is still
yeah.
The operator browser maintains that. So
because before, when we were trying this in rehearsal, this is where we got completely blocked.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go and we're going to do this time. I'm going to shop for something else on Etsy here.
Find nights.
Not that I had to go through that. I could have just probably had to go straight to Etsy and then log in, but I don't know. I haven't really played with it much. Okay. So yeah, no. So I'm still logged in here. So it's still it still has me logged in. I don't know. I just wanted to see if it would list.
Yeah.
I guess if I were to yeah, okay. So I think
am I missing something? Has it come back with a message to help you? I mean, you're just left dangling here.
Yeah. I guess I could, I could just treat it like a virtual browser. I could take control and I can just do what I could do if I were interacting directly with the Etsy site.
What's the point of that?
It does
say you have control. So, but I'm surprised it hasn't come back with a message. Maybe it will.
What if I were to do this? Okay, so let me exit the chat. I want to ask it if it can empty my shopping cart.
Okay.
Okay. I'm hopeful here. It's giving me the confidence it can do what I asked. Should I go ahead and remove the item, empty your cart? Yes.
That was from our earlier.
Yeah, it was from the earlier. Yeah. No.
Our rehearsal for this. Is it doing it?
Oh yeah, look at that.
Okay, it's done it. All right.
Any other questions I should ask it while we're here logged into my Etsy? Can you show my shopping history? But it's sort of like, well, okay. Can you show my purchase history?
I'm glad we've done this because it is more promising. Okay, so you've emptied the cart, but it shows that it's able to interact with it in a useful kind of way.
Oh, it even summarizes it. Look at that.
Huh.
So yeah, I mean, at some point, I suppose I could see this turning into something useful.
You know what would make it really useful, however, and OpenAI is perfectly capable of doing this today, and that is making it speech to speech. So now you're wandering around outside, I don't know, doing some planting or something, but you're doing anything else except standing in front of your computer, or even holding your phone, and you just say, "Oh, show me all, go and find me all the whatever you want here, radios or speakers or pillows, and then come back to me when you've got it." And then it says to you, "Okay, Dave, I found this stuff here. Would you like to take a quick look at your phone or your laptop and see if I'm on the right lines?" That is, yes, it takes a little bit more, but they've already got the techniques to do that. And I do think a lot of this agentic behavior will be so much easier when we can do what humans have been doing for a couple of million years, and that's making noises. I don't know how long we've been talking, but very long time. And that's what we really like doing. And once we can actually speak to the agent, then I think it will become much, much more useful, because having to sit in front of the computer and keep typing and clicking around, it's not going to be very much faster. But once you can start just telling it or asking it to do something, then I think that's going to make a big difference. And we already know that's here. I mean, the wherewithal to do the speech to speech is here, and OpenAI are already doing it pretty nicely. A couple of other people are too. So I think that would be, yeah, go on.
I mean, I think that, yeah, but I mean, that raises the question. What you're saying raises the question: is this the future of online shopping, or is this the future of online shopping? Because this is a model. This is like a Tesla self-driving car. It's showing me like what I would be doing, the way I would be shopping, but it's doing what I would do, and then it's allowing me to take over at any time. And it is prompting me to take over when it needs me to complete a step before it can go back and do the rest of the things it needs to do. And this is very much like this is a Tesla self-driving car. This is like a Waymo taxi. This basically, the Perplexity's point of view says the browser's pretty much, going to websites is over with. You don't need to go to websites anymore. We're just going to scrape websites. We're going to turn websites. We're going to look at websites as a bunch of URIs or a bunch of endpoints that we can go into, and we can pull data out, and we can come back, and we are a bricoleur. We can create a custom view of all the data that we've pulled from various sites to give you what you need. You don't need to go to websites anymore. There's no point in doing that. We'll go to websites, and websites don't really need to be user-friendly anymore. They just need to have the information and endpoints that we can pull back and organize for you. That's what this says. This says, well, not so fast. This says, all this world of all the UI and UX that, Etsy and Walmart and, and Amazon have spent decades building, for humans to come in and navigate and see things and compare and shop and be nudged to buy additional things and increase the basket at the checkout and all that. All that stuff's still relevant. It's still relevant. We just need to, but we're just going to, to optimize some of it. We're going to automate some of it. But this fundamental structure is still part of the future. So I don't know, is this going to be what the world is, or is this going to be what the world is, or something?
My feeling that virtual browser is an interesting stepping stone, but I can't see everybody else following that. And I think we're much more likely to see something which are extensions, which allow them to take over important aspects of the existing browsers, and not completely build a new browser. That would be my guess, especially the open source ones. because if you're in the open source world, you're much less likely to have to want to build another browser. So that would be my guess. Of course, something completely different might happen, but that would be my feeling.
Well, part of the problem is that none of these sites, Amazon, Etsy, Walmart, or whatever, none of them are set up to allow you to complete a purchase through an API.
Right.
Like, so there's no, you can, I mean, ultimately, if you buy something over here, you've got to, you got to use Pro, which is Perplexity's way of buying things. But then you have to have I assume they have to have deals with all of the retailers, and that may not include all the retailers. Right. Or I can go to Best Buy and buy it, but I can't. In other words, I can't through Perplexity through this interface. I can't complete a purchase at Best Buy unless I use Perplexity's purchasing system, which again may not apply to everything I might want to buy on the web. Yeah. So that's the problem. That's the problem that this solves, is that this does all the stuff, puts it in my basket, and then turns control over to me to complete the purchase. So that might also be something that's hard to get worked out. And this, it may be that online retailers have no interest in providing, the ability to complete purchases through an endpoint, so that you're completing the purchase in somebody else's app.
Yeah.
Yeah,
go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Like shop.com does that too. There are several of these that attempt to do that. Go ahead.
Well, it depends. I mean, if that becomes the only way that they can sell, or one of the main ways they can sell, I mean, look what's happened, particularly in Britain. Many so-called bricks and mortar stores have closed up, and a massive amount has gone online. And those stores which managed to get online quickly and have two arms to their business have managed to, many of them anyway, have managed to survive as far as I know. And those that missed the boat have tended not to, especially when COVID came along. So those that had, let's say, a weaker online presence were not in a very good position. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, we all have to buy things, or almost everybody has to buy something to stay alive, especially food and things like that. So shopping, buying things is a pretty important part of human life. In other words, it's how this, I mean, and that's one of the reasons why we've chosen this example, as is getting news and information, which is the value of the other example. But I think this is, hopefully, this has been, I found it fascinating. And I certainly wouldn't have had this chance to go inside this in any way, let alone this deeply, had it not been for you, Dave, being an American in America with the Pro account. So hopefully it's been really useful.
Yeah, thanks. I hope we get to do this again and see how it develops, and come back and revisit it when they update it, and whatever else comes out. Take a look at whatever else comes out.
Yeah, well,
be a different point of view on how this world's going to look.
Yeah, well, there are already lots of other things that we can consider. So hope everyone's enjoyed this, and come back for the next one. This has been me, Julian Darley, and
Dave Gilbert,
and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Oh, and if you like this, please click and subscribe.